La 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 la. They tried to slap that look right off my face, but I'm still grinning. And the money ain't run out yet, so I do believe I'm winning. For all the mess I was, am and will be continuing, and the fun is only beginning. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Hello and welcome to Don't Bury the Lead. We recap WWE SmackDown every Friday night after the bell. But tonight is a special night because we are doing a special show. We are doing a WrestleMania preview. This preview will include our top 5 matches that we want to see the most. We're going to give a breakdown of why we want to see the match, and we're going to give predictions behind those matches. My name is John Zindel. I'm joined by Dom Scarcella. Dom, go ahead and tell the people a little bit about yourself.
We did this last year for WrestleMania 39 and had so much fun, we decided to do it up again for WrestleMania 40, which will be sort of in our South Jersey region this year. It'll be in Philadelphia, right across the river from where you and I are. And yes, we've got the top 5 matches that each of us really wants to watch here. So this is not the match that we think is going to be the biggest necessarily, or the match that we most want to know the result of. It's the match itself. What do you want to tune into or be live in attendance for and watch the match? So without further ado, John, don't bury the lead. We've got our lists ready. I think it's time to show people maybe your number one match that you want to see. Because, it's don't bury the lead. We got to start at the top.
Dom, we don't ever bury the lead, so we're going to go right into the number one match. We'll start with me. So my number one match, and let's adjust here, and okay, looks like we're good. Go ahead, Dom.
LA Knight versus AJ Styles in the number one spot.
I know. Surprising maybe for some folks out there, but this is my match I'm looking forward to the most. From my perspective, I think LA Knight is the best babyface in the company.
Okay.
And I've liked everything he's done all year. AJ Styles has always been one of my favorites, and I think they did a great job setting this rivalry up. There's no title on the line.
No.
But for me, I think this has the potential to steal the show either Friday or Saturday or Sunday night. These two are both very good in the ring, and specifically AJ Styles. LA Knight's been, they really found something that they didn't expect. So he's come over a lot more holistically than, let's just say, for example, a lot of the other workers and wrestlers have been. I think Cody's been kind of a long-term plan. And so I think this will be the match of the night, whether it's on Saturday or Sunday.
I like that. And I had it on my board too.
Oh, wow.
At number 2. So we each think highly of this match. Yeah, this has been, with the possible, the Roman Cody thing, they've been building for a long time because it's a recycle of last year. It's sort of a continuation. But yeah, this is maybe the longest running organic storyline.
Yeah.
LA Knight stepped in for an injured AJ Styles to be John Cena's tag partner last year at a pay-per-view. And then when AJ Styles returned, he had this, real resentment for LA Knight. And this just kept building and building. They did a great job in that fatal 4-way title match of still bringing up the tension between these two. We talked about it a lot in last night's live stream after SmackDown, that what a great short segment this was on SmackDown featuring the two of them. This is a match I want to see. I think these guys are going to wrestle tremendously. I want to watch this match, not simply watch, the last 60 seconds for the finish or a 3-minute edited thing that WWE throws on Twitter or YouTube or wherever they put it, nor just read about the result. Like, I want to watch this match as well. So, I don't have much else to say about it. LA Knight and AJ Styles, they're guys that I knew before they came to WWE. So I've been fans of their work for a long time, and I think they're just tremendous in WWE. Like you mentioned, it's something that's organic. Neither guy feels like they've been over pushed.
Mm-hmm.
Anything, they've been under pushed, and the WWE audience is really behind this match. So I'm with you. I think this could steal the show on either night. I didn't have it quite in my number one spot.
Yeah. I know it was a little bit against the grain here, but this isn't really the matches that I think the public will see, or Dave Meltzer or Jim Cornette or Conan or whoever the podcasters are out there now. I'm really thinking more along the lines of like just what I want to see. So this is number one for me, and you can see that, Tom. You also feel highly about it as it's your number two.
I
But,
feel so much better about this list right now that you and I both put a non-title match, just a grudge match between two totally over fantastic in-ring workers and fantastic character workers high up on our list. This live stream just got so much better for me.
All right, Dom. So maybe we can shift to you.
Mhm.
What is your number?
Well, how about prediction?
Oh boy, we skipped a step. Sorry. So the prediction. I guess since I drew, I can give you the prediction. Whoever
Sure.
draws, maybe we could say does the prediction first.
Sure.
I think this is going to be another win for LA Knight, who stayed very hot after WrestleMania last year, where he was just sort of buried there on the roster. He's had a great year leading up into this WrestleMania. LA Knight appears to be somewhat the future, and I'm hoping that he's gearing up for a title run. And I think that, LA Knight is going over AJ Styles. How about you, Dom?
I think I'd like to see LA Knight win this. I think they're very evenly matched. And I think LA Knight winning this, it might be it would be his most high level, most meaningful singles victory if he does. I mean, you could argue maybe the Solo Sikoa victory he had leading into his title match against Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
But I think beating a guy who's been a champion all over the world in multiple promotions, including a champion in WWE, in AJ Styles would be fantastic for him. I don't know what AJ Styles win would do for him here. So it's almost a case I'm trying to fantasy book it and wonder where this goes from here. Like, I don't see AJ Styles winning as doing anything for either guy or for WWE creative going forward. I see LA Knight winning this match as something that, AJ Styles wouldn't look any weaker for it. LA Knight could be elevated to where he needs to be for a continued run, and I think it would leave creative with a lot more to do.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what.
I think LA Knight wins as well.
AJ Styles winning would be a swerve, but we saw a big swerve last year when Roman Reigns knocked off Cody Rhodes. I think that was pretty shocking. So
we did.
Not afraid.
If they swerved us this year just to set up another 12 months of LA Knight versus AJ Styles at next WrestleMania, we would think it was a letdown, right?
Right. All right, Tom. Well, that's our prediction for this match here with LA Knight. We both think LA Knight will go over. Let's maybe move on here. Let's take your number one match.
Okay. For the second consecutive year, the match I most want to watch at WrestleMania involves Sami Zayn.
Look at that.
There's a little bit of selfish nostalgia here for the two guys we most miss from SmackDown.
Right.
Are Gunther and Sami Zayn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at least for me. I mean, you probably have them up there as well. But for me, I miss Gunther and I miss Sami Zayn more than any two people from SmackDown after they moved over to Raw.
Yeah, we only really watched SmackDown,
Mhm.
and this is actually I left this off my top 5, even though I very much was like, this could easily be the best technical match,
I
without
want to
question.
watch this match more than anything else. I want to watch Gunther and I want to watch Sami Zayn. And the fact that they might be the two best all around workers in the company. Now that I mean, in the ring, definitely you could argue that Gunther now on the mic has elevated to where he's substantial enough. But
Mhm.
as far as a match to watch, these might be the two best in ring guys to watch. That doesn't mean they're necessarily the best all around athletes and can do the flippy stuff. I mean, just how to wrestle as a pro wrestler. And the fact that they're in the same match with a belt on the line, and there's a little bit of nostalgia factor for me. I miss them. I miss
Right.
Gunther. I miss Sami Zayn, and I get to watch each of them in the same freaking match at WrestleMania. This is the match I want to see more than any other.
Yeah. It's a great call. And
It could be down card on either night. I don't care. I want to see this match. And you said you did not have it in your top 5, or you did?
I don't have it in my top 5,
Okay.
but only because I haven't seen, because we don't watch Raw at all. So I haven't really been invested in whatever Gunther's story, anything about Gunther's storyline. But whenever he wrestles in a match, you're like, oh man, this is it. Like
That's
I think,
interesting. So them being off SmackDown made you look forward to the match less, whereas them being off SmackDown made me look forward to the match even more.
yeah, because you're like, I don't get to see Gunther every night. I'm dying here with some of the matches we see on SmackDown. Some of
Yeah,
them are
yeah.
okay. Some of them are like, boy, okay, it's not Gunther, right?
It's not Gunther. It's not Gunther, and it's not Sammy.
And Gunther, you could make an argument that he's the best in ring worker in the world right now. So
Yeah.
that's why we were so spoiled last year, and he was doing all the intercontinental title stuff, which is defending the title like crazy on the program. So
Somewhere in WrestleMania, one of these nights, I'm getting spoiled again.
well, let's maybe move to predictions then.
Mhm.
This was your pick. So who do you think's going to win, Gunther or Sami Zayn?
I want Sammy to win because I think it's important for him. But at the same time, I think Gunther has to win because there's so much more to do with him. Like, even though he's a record-setting intercontinental champion at this point, 660 days. By the time he gets to WrestleMania, it might, if they wrestle Saturday, it might be 666. I think there's more to do with Gunther, and him losing one-on-one at WrestleMania, I don't think is the way for him to drop this belt. He either has to drop this belt and get into a world title picture by winning the Royal Rumble, or relinquishing the IC belt and saying, I've done all I can do with this Intercontinental belt. I'm just going for the next one. Or it has to be in a triple threat match or something where Gunther loses the belt without getting pinned
Yeah.
or submitted, and so he has a beef as to why the belt is not on him. I think Gunther should win here, but just like with last year's Elimination Chamber against Roman Reigns, I think Sammy is going to perform so well here that you're going to have a few moments where you think Sammy could win it. And if he does, you would not be disappointed because Sammy is that good. But I think Gunther gets the win here.
Yeah, I should have put this on my list. Because
It's
now
a
that
big card. I mean, maybe this was number 6 for you. There's no shame in a match not being top 5.
well, we talked about it in the studio before the show that there was a lot of good matches that we're looking forward to. It's a good
Yep.
sign that it was tough to make our top 5.
Yep.
But I do have to say, as
Who do you
far
think wins?
I think it's going to be Gunther.
Okay.
But I would say if Sami Zayn won, I wouldn't be super shocked, which is a
Okay.
good sign
Yep.
for the way that it's been set up. Gunther has to lose it at some point,
Yep.
and I feel like he's probably right in the title picture once he loses it.
Yep.
So how do you get it off him? Can he get pinned? I mean, does it really hurt him that much? He loses one time in 2 years or whatever. So
If he
like,
loses to a guy who's never been a world title holder one-on-one clean at a WrestleMania, probably yes.
hmm.
Because Sammy, like AJ Styles, is a former Grand Slam champion or whatever.
Yeah, Sammy
Sami
was
Zayn
in the
is
toilet
not.
there
Like,
for a
this
while.
is as high as Sammy's been, right? The IC level or the US belt.
Yeah.
So I think it would do something to the Gunter rise if he loses the belt to a guy who's never been a world champion.
Sami Zayn did lose to the cast of Jackass
He did
in a match.
at a WrestleMania.
At a WrestleMania not too long ago. So there's still that little bit like, is he a big title guy, But anyways, maybe moving on
If
here.
Gunter's gonna win, Sammy's the guy who puts the most doubt in your mind, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's almost a foregone conclusion, and in your head Gunter has to walk out of WrestleMania with the IC belt still, Sammy's the guy who in your heart puts the most doubt into the outcome, right? Because Sammy could hold any belt because he's so good.
Exactly.
So we agree on the prediction so far. So maybe who's your number 2?
Yeah, let's keep it moving here so we can go on to my number 2.
Wow.
It's going to be the tag match, Roman Reigns and The Rock versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. I'm really looking forward to this one, and I'm going to be honest with you. I have tickets to WrestleMania on Saturday night, and I know The Rock is going to be there I know this match will be on Saturday night. It'll be the main event. I actually consider putting it as my number 1, but ultimately I kept it as my number 2. And I think The Rock has just been great in the promos, and I just can't wait to see him. So it's really just me being a big fan of The Rock and just seeing what he's been doing recently with the promos. I don't know how. I'm very, very, very interested to see what he's like in the ring at this point.
Okay. I do not have this on my list for top 5.
This is one that made my list.
But I understand totally because I just watched AEW Revolution. Really, I bought it just to watch Sting's final match. So I understand the fact that, if you like a big star who's going to be featured on a pay-per-view that, you want to watch that performance.
Dom, it's kind of funny. I got nostalgia pilled. Yeah. Like, I just got caught up in the nostalgia, and I was like, oh, man. And then I like all the promos he's been doing. Yeah. And
that's what it's for. That's why he's here. It's working. That's good.
Yeah. So I really like this match going forward. Let's do
how much of it is because you have tickets and you're going to be there live and in person, and like of all the matches that you could see in person, them announcing this one for the Saturday when you're going to be there in the stadium, that you just want to witness everything around this match in person. How much of it is the fact that you're a ticket holder, not a pay-per-view watcher?
It's a good point. So basically, from my perspective, Dom, the whole reason that it's so high for me is that I'm going to be at the show, and it's the
That's
main
a
event.
great reason. I like that.
I
like that.
Let's face it. That Sunday, I'm going to be, that Saturday, I'm going to be there all day or all night at the show, in the seats, watching. And eventually, when the Sunday rolls around, I'm probably not going to be as into the matches. I'm just going to be transparent with you. I'm probably going to be like WrestleMania it out. So knowing that it's going to be on the Saturday, I have favored this match from my perspective. And let me jump right into my prediction here.
Yes.
I think there's going to be 2 predictions I'd like to throw out here. The actual winner, I think Roman Reigns and The Rock are going to go over because it's going to set up the bloodline rules for the next night.
Okay.
And I think from my end, I like the idea that Cody's going to have to fight back the bloodline. And you've made it this comment before. The bloodline, they always do bloodline rules. Right? So I don't know what's going to be different, but I think The Rock and Roman Reigns are going to go over. And then in addition to that, I think The Rock and Roman Reigns are going to get some babyface heat. I don't know that the crowd is necessarily going to boo them because, and Jim Ross has mentioned this before, the Northeast Corridor and specifically Philadelphia is a bit of a heel town.
Okay.
So where they cheer the heels and boo the faces. So we might see a little bit of that dynamic, especially with The Rock coming back. Who cares if he's supposed to be the heel? You're going to see The Rock. You're going to cheer him.
Can I give a little aside here that, maybe gets edited out of the main video, but for our live stream viewers and those who watch the full thing.
Yeah.
More than a decade ago, TNA Impact came to Philadelphia for a big pay-per-view, and one of the matches was heel Hulk Hogan versus Sting for like control of the company, like because Hogan had been running the company with Bischoff and Ric Flair and their whole faction. And a lot of the smart dirt cheats were saying Philly's going to crap all over this match because it's two old guys and they're not going to care. They get into the match. The Philly crowd freaking loves it because these guys are so good at in-ring psychology, even though they're older. And when Hogan rips off his shirt, even though he's supposed to be the dastardly heel, the crowd popped for it. Like
Right.
They were so glad to see Hulk Hogan doing Hulk Hogan things. So Philly crowds are really into the spectacle of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if the heels are the best performers, I don't think the Philly crowd is trying to be smart marks.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Philly crowd just appreciates the spectacle of what they're watching. Now, eventually they cheered Sting in that match.
Yeah.
And then that post-match became the beatdown of Sting, and then Hogan turned face,
Mm-hmm.
which the crowd just went nuts for.
Right.
So I don't think Philly crowds are necessarily heel crowds, but because they're into whatever the best show is, they aren't going to just, sit on their hands for a heel putting on the best show.
Yeah, they're gonna cheer for whatever is actually really going over in general.
Yeah. They're going to cheer for what's the best performance that's in front of them. They just don't want to be bored. Right? They don't want to sit there being bored. So if heels are entertaining, they're going to appreciate that. So that's a cool wrinkle. I could see Roman and The Rock. Yeah, I could totally see them getting cheered. And we did a cheap heat last night on our live stream about whether or not WWE has successfully kept Cody Rhodes prominent enough, and if Cody has done enough to make himself prominent enough here, where you're to the point where, yeah, Cody's the guy that the WWE audience generally cares the most about. He might be the third or fourth person that people care about in this match.
Right.
The crowd might care about the other three guys more than Cody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, the other thing you brought up here, I think Roman and The Rock win this match to set up Bloodline rules the next day. And let me jump into it. I don't have
so
this
maybe we
match on my board, but we agree on the prediction here. I've got Roman and Cody on my board at number 3 because in the aftermath of whatever happens with that tag match, I think I want to watch how this match unfolds, even though it's a repeat of last year's WrestleMania.
And this is on my list too, Dom. This is number 5.
Where do you have it?
This is my number 5.
Number 5. So we each have this on our board somewhere. So I have it a little higher than mine. I want to watch this match. I want to see it unfold. Roman is always really good at pacing and playing to the crowd, the live crowd during his matches. So I want to watch this match. And I want to see what happens with or without Bloodline rules. There's going to be some sort of interference probably. But even if there's not, even if they give us a one-on-one match, I'll give you my prediction. I think Cody wins it.
Yeah.
I think they have to switch the belt here, or they've kind of buried Cody. And I think a Roman loss at WrestleMania sets up Roman versus The Rock at a future pay-per-view.
Right.
Because since we're doing predictions, my prediction here is that somehow The Rock is involved in Roman not winning. And I think this sets up something farther. So I'm really fantasy booking this ahead. But I think that's what WWE is hoping for, that by doing this a double main event with stipulations for Saturday leading into Sunday, I think they want people to kind of, use their imaginations here. And even if they don't, tough luck. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I
So
see Cody winning this match. I see The Rock being somehow involved in how Roman doesn't retain. And I see this leading to a bloodline angle where it's head of the table tribal chief on the line without a belt. Down the road, Roman versus Rock.
I'll tell you
What say you? Why do you have it? This sounds terrible. All the way down at number 5.
Yeah, no, it is all the way down at number 5. I feel like it's a foregone conclusion that Cody's going to win. So
Okay.
there's no element of it being unpredictable at all.
Oh,
And then in
wow.
addition to that, I feel like Cody's limping to the finish line here. Felt like the right time was last year for him to win it. And I'm glad he didn't win it, but I was like, maybe SummerSlam he'll win it. No, they waited
Yeah.
another 12 months
Yes.
of Nepo baby Cody Rhodes talking about his dad. Like
Yep.
how long can I just hear him talk about Dusty this and Dusty that? So I feel, I mean, it's just a long time for me to really be that vested into it. Having said that, it's the main event of WrestleMania, so I still have to have it on my list, and it makes it. But I'm not particularly looking forward to it, and I think they probably have some stuff right now in place where hopefully Cody can carry it, but it's going to be really big shoes to fill once Roman drops it to Cody. I think it's going to be.
So this is almost on your list as a Nepo baby match. Like you felt obligated to put it there, if I'm hearing you correct, because it's the biggest belt, the longest running storyline. It involves supposedly the biggest stars, and it's the main event of night 2 of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's tough to keep people at a fever pitch for 15 months.
Yeah.
Which is what they're asking their audience to do in having this match 15 months after Cody Rhodes won his first Royal Rumble,
but
and pointed to Roman Reigns.
I don't want to be too negative here. I do think it's pretty positive because if he wins it, even though anybody that wins it is going to have big shoes to fill, it feels like there's some storylines that they already have and arcs they're setting up with The Rock and Cody that he'll have people to wrestle, and they're already kind of putting the foundation for. Whereas last year, if he had won it, it's just going to be like, Cody's a champ. Now what? I guess he'll wrestle like Baron Corbin and lose. I don't know. Like, I guess I'll just start tearing through people and whoever. But really, at the end of the day, right now, I'm thinking, hey, they have some stuff in place once he wins. I'm just not necessarily looking forward to this match because it just seems very predictable and feels like it's a little late for it to be really compelling stuff, right?
It's going to be the last match on Sunday, so you're going to be very tired.
Oh, yeah, and I'm going to be sleepy as hell when this match happens. So
that we're 2 for 2 in thinking that a title switch happens for the biggest, most prestigious belt in WWE.
And we haven't disagreed on one prediction. Maybe we could kick it to my number 3.
Yeah, what do you have here as number 3 on John's list is Io Sky versus Bayley.
This is a goofy one for me to throw on so high.
Not at all. Go ahead. Why do you have it there?
Let me tell you something, Dom. Io Sky versus Bayley has the potential from the women's side to steal one of the nights. And I think we saw Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair do this on a Saturday last year, where they was like, well, this is the best match of WrestleMania. These two might be able to do it. And I'm saying that because Bayley has been great as a character, but she can go in the ring. And Io's pretty fresh. I think she's been doing a lot of pretty good work. And if she could just elevate to that next level, her and Bayley, if they could just kind of get there from the, Dave Meltzer 3-star to the Dave Meltzer 4 or 5-star, they have a chance to be like, hey, this is this is the best women's match of the night and maybe the best match of the night.
Wow. So in saying match of the night, you are
So it's on your list as well, number 4.
it is on because I want to watch this match. I just don't want to read the result or watch the last 60 seconds finish. I want to watch this match. And for something that you alluded to there, I want to see Io Sky as champion walk into a big pay-per-view, and this is the biggest of them all,
Right.
and wrestle like a champion in a one-on-one match. And I think Bayley is the perfect wrestler to bring that out of her. I also selfishly want to see Bayley wrestle in a one-on-one match. She is so good. Like you said, her character work is stellar, but she can also wrestle.
Yeah.
And I want to see her wrestle. And I do hope this winds up being a one-on-one match. And with the rest of Damage Control being in another match already, a 6-woman tag, hopefully this doesn't become a wonky finish.
Yeah.
I want to watch Io Sky and Bayley. I think they're going to be great, and I think this could be the intrigue. Does Io Sky step up and wrestle someone who's, one of the 4 horsewomen, one of the greats? So, I think we're leading into prediction territory here. What do you see happening in this match? And is it, if you're predicting a Bayley win, is it a clean finish where the title switches?
Well, I'm glad you asked, and I think our prediction probably is the same. You kind of alluded to it. So I think Bayley is going to win the title. There could be some interference from Damage Control, but I don't see a lot of interference in WrestleMania matches. I don't think, or I hope not to see a lot of interference in WrestleMania matches. I don't think it really adds a lot to them unless it's part of the stipulation. So I think Bayley is going to win it. And I think Io Sky has had a very solid run as the champion. And I think it's better to get it off her right now when I'm liking her rather than it being too late. Be like, man, how do we get this belt off of Io Sky? Right. I think this is her first WWE title run. And I think she's done a fine job.
Okay. I'm going to go a little weird here. Bear with me. I want Io to win it. I want there to be maybe not interference on the finish, but I want there to be something like maybe Damage Control attacks Bayley before the match. I'm torn. I want Io Sky, I think, to walk out of WrestleMania with the belt. I'd like her to win, and maybe this sets up Backlash in a steel cage. And Bayley takes the belt there in a cage where there's no interference at all. This is one of those matches where I almost don't have a prediction because it's not the finish that I'm most interested in. It's the 2 characters, the 2 pro wrestlers, the history they have with each other, and just wanting to see them wrestle. Like I don't really have a prediction here because you could talk me into anything. You could talk me into Bayley winning clean for the belt. You could talk me into Io winning clean for the belt. You could talk me into Io winning wonky to keep the belt. You could talk me into a DQ. You could talk me into anything here.
The second act could even be better if Io wins it and then they do the cage match, especially because Io, from War Games, she's really good in the cage.
They did this last year with Bianca Belair, Asuka at WrestleMania.
Oh, right.
Bianca Belair retained, and that set up a continuing feud with Bianca and Asuka.
Right.
So the fact that these are the 2 people that you want to be involved in the title switch doesn't mean that every belt has to switch at WrestleMania. So I want to see what you were talking about. I want to see in the match Io Sky elevate and match and get to the level where she looks like she belongs in the ring one-on-one with one of the greats.
Right.
So my prediction is I want the match to be awesome. I almost don't have a finish, but you could talk me into any of them.
Right.
I will lean if I have to do the thumbs up, thumbs down. There's no ties, no ties. Pass fail. I want EO to win, so
Yeah.
I'll make that my prediction. EO retains.
There you go. This is our first one we disagree on. I'm thinking it's Bailey. You say it's Io Sky.
EO
And
retains.
let's do my number 4 here.
Dun 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 dun. The last one to be revealed is Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. You are into these family feuds.
I love them.
Last year, your number 3 match was Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio. So this year, Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. Tell me about this match and what makes you want to watch this match, not just hear the result.
This one, only reason it's not higher is because the build was somewhat random and kind of quickly thrown together. But it seems like, these two have been tag team partners forever, and they have been both competing forever as well. So, at the end of the day, I really think that, okay, so I'll put it like this. The reason that I think this is going to be the best or so high for me is because they've had this like long history of competing with together as a tag team, and now they're finally like competing against each other. It's interesting to see how they're going to wrestle each other, and it can't be anything but good. They've wrestled with each other for so long. So there's no way it's going to be a dud. It's going to at least deliver. And I just like the family thing. I don't know.
Okay. Great long-standing feud, like you've told. Like this has been building as long as, say, LA Knight, AJ Styles. It was what was it? The SummerSlam match where Jimmy returned to cost Jay the title win over Roman.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of building since the summer as well, as far as them being feuding with each other. My concern for this match is that the two of them wrestle so similarly that it's watching mirror images.
Yes.
I want there to be contrast in the match to make it more interesting. And I'm intrigued, but not so intrigued that I want to watch this match over 5 others. But yeah, they're both great athletes. They're record-setting tag team performers. When we did our grading show at the end of 2022, we graded the Usos and Sami Zayn as grade A because they were great in every aspect of being a pro wrestler. Mic work, character development, in-ring wrestling, and in-ring playing to the situation, and in-ring psychology. So there's nothing bad to say about either of these guys as performers. I don't have it among my top 5, but I can see why you'd be interested in, the elite level performers, and anybody would want to watch this.
And let me skip ahead here. I'm going to call my prediction.
Yes, I was just going to say, well, who do you think's going over here?
This one really could go either way, and it could go either way, and it's kind of where one of the matches, it makes it more compelling if it can go either way, right?
Okay.
So what I would say from my end, I think Jimmy Uso knocks off Jey Uso in a bit of an upset.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why. I think Jimmy has really been a trooper for like being the brother that's been the dopey like jobber and all of this, and Jay has kind of gotten the shine, the singles push, the whole thing. I think there's got to be some level of balancing out. I mean, Jimmy kind of owes Jay here, right? or Jay kind of owes Jimmy here, right?
In a sense, we thought that, at least I thought, and you tell me if you did, that when they were a tag team, Jay seemed to be the more developed of the two characters.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy was more of the straight man. And so, yes, when they split up and Jimmy became like just Roman's lackey, like, oh, you made your bed, now you got to sleep in it.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to stay with the tribal chief and the family. Okay, now you're the lackey. Go out and do the dirty work, chump. And Jimmy excelled at it.
I think there's also the opportunity too for if Jimmy wins to also be in the title picture with Cody Rhodes and be the loser to kind of like Cody's going to need some people that get fed to him and get W's once he gets the title. He's not going to lose it right away. He's not going to wrestle The Rock or the next pay-per-view, you know? So maybe Jimmy gets fed to Cody as a good competitor that would be compelling with the bloodline story.
That's a great idea. And because of that great idea that you just threw out, you have convinced me that I want to predict Jimmy Uso winning here.
There you go.
I want your fantasy booking to be part of to be what happens. I want that to come true. Yes, I now want Jimmy Uso to win, and to win in a way that he's elevated and becomes a legitimately great foil for Cody when Cody wins.
Yep.
We're now making predictions based on our other predictions. So we completely lost touch with reality here. We're insisting that our derivatives are the real thing, and we're doing derivatives of the derivatives.
That's like saying I don't think
collapse waiting to happen.
That's like saying I think Dak Prescott is injury prone and he'll get hurt this year, and then for that reason the Eagles will win the NFC East, right? Something along those lines. But I think that's enough Uso talk here. We got one more match left, Dom. How about who is your number 5?
I don't think there's as much shine on Rhea Becky as there was on Rhea Charlotte last year. But out of respect for the fact that Rhea Ripley has done so much this past year, I said during Crown Jewel, has anybody had a better 2023 than Rhea Ripley? And because Becky Lynch, I think, is that A-level foil for her, I think this could be another great match. I don't expect it to be as great as Rhea Charlotte, only because that was the match of the year, and I don't typically go around expecting things to be match of the year. I like to be pleasantly surprised by match of the year. But it's for a belt. They've built up a feud. I think there's a little less shine on it because last year's build was all about Rhea versus Charlotte. And this year's build has been about Rhea and Becky and other people kind of involved in it. And it's kind of like WrestleMania. It's almost like, it's going to be these two. So we didn't see as much of a Rhea Becky build for WrestleMania. But I think in the ring, these two are each going to deliver. There's a little bit of a size imbalance, Rhea to Becky. Becky is kind of smallish. She's thin. She's strong, so she's not frail, but she's shorter and she's thinner. Charlotte at least had the height to her and just the imposing stature. So, but I do want to watch this match. I simply don't want to read the result or watch the finish. I want to watch this match to see somebody go one-on-one with Rhea. Nia Jax did that at Elimination Chamber, I think, successfully. But Nia was there just as the monster heel because Rhea was babyface for one night.
Right.
I want to see heel Rhea go one-on-one with an opponent who is worth her stature. And prediction, I want to see Rhea retain.
Ooh, okay. So you think Rhea is going to have the title for a year then?
A full year, yes.
Okay.
Bianca did it. Charlotte did not because Charlotte had the belt quickly. But Bianca did it successfully for more than a year. Yes, I want to see Rhea retain. I think she will, and I think Becky is going to be that opponent that puts extra shine on Rhea. Because Rhea's beaten Zelina Vega in Puerto Rico. She won a wonky 6-way in Saudi Arabia. She beat Nia Jax where she was babyface for one night because it was in her hometown.
Right. Pedro's got this comment here. Maybe if you could weigh in, Rhea versus Becky might be better hype than Io versus Bayley.
If you're a Raw, and that's a great point. If you've been watching Raw and seeing this storyline play out more than what we've been seeing on SmackDown, that's a great point. It may just be my ignorance that I haven't seen enough of the Rhea Becky build on Raw.
Yeah, we don't.
So Pedro, thank you for the counterpoint there. we're not shy about saying that we mostly watch SmackDown.
Yeah,
So as
we
far as our knowing history, we don't know a lot of the Raw. But Pedro, if you tell me that Rhea versus Becky has been built to your satisfaction for a WrestleMania title, I will say that's a legitimate argument. It's on my list. It's at number 5. So I think it's going to be a great match that I want to see. And for those of you who've seen this build more on Raw, if you are into this match, then that bodes even well for me putting it on my list. Because
yeah.
without seeing the week to week dynamics of Rhea versus Becky, I still want to just watch this match unfold. So maybe this will be the match that I watch and go, oh, if I had been watching Raw, I would have had this higher on my list. That's kind of the pleasant surprise. The unpleasant surprise is when you have a match on your list and you watch it and you go, oh, that didn't deliver at all.
Yeah, right. That when you put if you have a match on here and it's a complete dud, then
or it's average and you're like, oh man, so many other matches delivered more than this.
Hey, is there a number 6 for you that you kept off but you wanted to pop on here?
Yes. Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins for the U.S. title, the world title.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I like Drew's character work from the bits I've seen in the clips. He's doing really well as a heel, just leaning into it.
Mm-hmm.
Seth Rollins, if he's healthy, is a great in-ring worker, and that's a match that I would want to watch. I would want to watch it unfold. I would want to watch two real veterans do ring psychology with each other in the ring. I think it would be a cool match to see.
Hey,
Pedro, giving us his cue. Thank you for watching us live, Pedro, and for joining the chat here. Anybody else watching us live, if you have not subscribed to Don't Bury the Lead, click that subscribe button for us. We are working on our next 500 subscribers, having just hit the 500 mark, that magical 500 mark this week. Rhea versus Becky is the battle of ideals. We went through this a little bit on Cheap Heat last night.
yeah.
That there might be some real life heat as far as, each of their approaches to pro wrestling. So yes, isn't that straightforward as I thought it would be? Yes, this may be some, real battle of, as if they are, let's do some fancy Carl Jungian terminology here from psychology. They might be archetypes.
Yeah.
Becky is just the pro wrestler, the athlete who really wanted to change women's pro wrestling in the WWE and was part of the group that did it.
Mm-hmm.
And Rhea is the next generation who is just into the social media and the spectacle of it all. And so maybe there's a little friction there of the archetype. Like Becky was part of that transitional generation of stars who had to force WWE's hand as far as what they thought of women's wrestling. And Rhea is the generation that benefits from that and embraces not only what women's wrestling has become in the WWE, but embraces what WWE in the age of social media has become. So yes, maybe there's an archetype clash here that makes it more interesting. I am not averse to people talking me more into these matches.
Right. We have actually gone through it a little bit, and I'm like, I think when you put up here Gunther versus Sami Zayn, I'm like, how is this not on my list? Because I was like tossing and turning over the picks, and I'm like, it just got left off. And
so that's
probably
your number 6 that was really close?
Yeah. That one was really tough to leave off.
Okay.
And I'm just like, there's too much I know about the other matchups and the build versus I had know nothing about the Gunther versus Sami Zayn build. So I don't even for me that could be Gunther versus Sami Zayn could have been last year on SmackDown for all I know,
Yep.
So but that's one that and there's a lot more people that have hopped in here. So but we were talking about earlier, Gunther versus Sami Zayn might be the best workers on the roster of wrestling. This might be the
Just
best
in-ring
wrestling
workers.
match.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there have been 12 matches announced, and we're narrowing it down to 5, so not even half of the matches get to make our list. So this is not even like pro sports where, half the league makes the playoffs.
Right.
This is like old school NFL where it meant something for you to make the playoffs.
Mhm.
It means a little something to make a top 5 list on a card with 12 matches, right?
For sure. And I think it's going to be one of these things, Dom, where whoa, how about this comment?
Okay. Shane McMahon supposedly making a surprise entrance. Is that a sarcastic callback to last year when Shane O'Mac made a surprise entrance and tore both quads,
Right.
trying to leapfrog The Miz, leading us to Snoop Dogg having to improvise?
Oh, how about this? How about this for fantasy booking? Shane's supposed to become Gunther's manager.
Wow, okay. I will take that as a surprise if it happens. Thank you, life goals.
That's really cool, life goals. And if you have your own channel, we'll check it out for sure. And appreciate the comment. But that would be wild if Shane McMahon showed up, because they've really kind of, because he's connected to Vince. Not really any other reason. If Triple H's last name was McMahon and it was more in your head that he was a part of that family,
Yep.
he might not be treated as nicely as he's being treated right now. You know,
Yes.
like, and that's a shame for for Stephanie and Shane. They're kind of trapped because of their dad. But
I wonder if real life makes its way into the storylines now, where it's time for a McMahon to be back in this company.
oh my God, that would be insane. That would be so good. I would love it, actually.
So if that happens, thank you, life goals. If that we ought to rename you for this show, Wrestlemania Goals. Maybe that would be a fantastic surprise for WrestleMania.
Oh yeah.
Pedro, Drew versus Seth is also in my top 5. The feud feels so real, and CM Punk as commentator is going to be fun. Yes, and I was going through all that, and it just didn't make my top 5. But Pedro, good points all around. This has been a great live stream on a Saturday afternoon because we're getting some great feedback from people in the live chat.
Yes.
I love this. What a great live stream. This show has gotten so much better. From you revealing LA Knight versus AJ Styles as your number 1 pick, John, to going through and getting fantastic chat contributions in the live chat here. This has been so much more fun than I thought it would be, and I thought it was going to be cool to begin with.
Right.
So maybe my parting shot here would be, may WrestleMania live up to our Don't Bury the Lead preview here,
Right.
where we not only look forward to it, but it delivers even more.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be good. From this perspective here, Dom. We had so much trouble getting the top 5, and it's not like we put Cody and Roman at number 1, but we're not necessarily like totally burying it. It's not.
No.
It's not going to be terrible, but yeah, I think it's going to be I think this is going to be an exciting, interesting WrestleMania. So thanks for jumping on the live chat, everyone. Appreciate it, and great feedback. We're going to make smaller videos to kind of make this into a more YouTube friendly, because if I post a 55-minute YouTube preview of WrestleMania, nobody's going to click that. So it'll be a little bit more YouTube friendly, where we'll probably do something around 15 minutes for the whole video, and then individual videos for some of the deeper breakdowns of each individual match. Dom,
thank you to our live streamers. If you're watching us on Facebook, on Twitch, on Twitter, or on YouTube, thank you wherever you're finding us. But please know that the mother load of our content is on the YouTube channel. That's where not only the live stream is and the recordings of these full shows, but the edited clips that that you've talked about. And also, John, you make these wonderful under 60-second shorts that are also available on our channel. There is so much in the Don't Bury the Lead catalog at the YouTube channel. Please subscribe there. We are working on our second 500 subscribers. Thank you to everyone who supported us so far. And hey, there's plenty of room on the Don't Bury the Lead party bus here.
All right. Thank you so much, Pedro. That was awesome. And thanks for hopping on. And then life goals as well. Pedro, really good feedback, man. And life goals, that was some good stuff too. So without further ado, guys, really appreciate hopping on. Dom, thanks for doing this. Thanks to the chat, and have a great rest of your evening.